last Power Ranger video I made got 4,000 views. And to the average Joe, that might not seem like a lot, but to the peeps at Next Topic Media, that is quite literally and by a large amount our most viewed video. So I decided to make another one, and in this one we are going to be looking at the 10 strongest Power Rangers in Power Rangers history. Now, of course, the franchise has many characters stretching across multiple years and multiple mediums of entertainment, and so I decided to rank the 10 most powerful Power Rangers in its history. Now, this list was incredibly hard to make, considering that there are over 150 Power Rangers to ever exist, and some take different forms. Now, this is going to come from a combination of comic books and the TV shows, so not just the TV shows. So if you haven't read the comic books, which I highly suggest because they are, in my opinion, a lot better than the show, you probably will disagree with some things on my list, but that is okay. The goal of this list is not to make the fans happy, but it's just to give my opinion on a franchise that I really love and that I grew up with. So to start, we are going to go with number 10, and it is Tori Hanson from Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Now, Tori was a calm, cool, and collective ranger. Where she lacked in fighting as compared to the rest of her group, she gained by being the voice of reason, which is a power that doesn't get enough credit. No, she wasn't the strongest, but she was the, I'd say, glue of the group, which is very important, but she also had a great mastery over water, which is just cool in general, and her ability to run on water is one of the coolest things I've ever seen a Ranger do, and for that I give her credit enough to put her at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Connor McKnight, Power Rangers Dino Thunder. One of my favorite characters to ever exist in the Power Rangers universe. Not only was he a gifted fighter, but his athletic ability and quote-unquote ninja skills he learned from his brother, who actually attended the Ninja Academy, helped him out greatly. Most importantly, his super speed was not to be messed with, and he could block and absorb energy attacks, as well as transport enemies to parallel universes. The only reason he is this low, because this is an overpowered thing to have, is that he only used it, I think, once, if I'm remembering correctly, and he should have been able to use it a lot more. Moving on to number 8, we're going to Mac Hartford from Operation Overdrive. Simply put, he was able to defeat the final villain wearing the Corona Aurora, which, for people who don't know, this is the equivalent of beating Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. So not Iron Man going back and getting the Infinity Gauntlet, but if they had won the first time around, that's the equivalent, and Mark Hartford was able to do that, so that got him the number 8 spot. Moving on, we have Jen Scott from Power Rangers Time Force. From the year 3000 originally, Jen traveled through time to capture Ransik, who killed her fiance. Because of this, she was angry and vengeful, which made her a very powerful and great fighter, and also turning into a normal human again after going through such a tragic event. That's pretty powerful in my opinion. Jen Scott was a great leader, and one of the few times we actually saw a leader not be the Red Ranger per se, but from another Ranger. I thought she was very powerful and a great character, so she got number 7. Next, we go to number 6, RJ from Jungle Fury, another one of my favorite characters, and so this may be a little biased, but he is one of the coolest characters ever, not just in Power Rangers universe, but altogether just a really cool character. And in my opinion, what makes him so powerful is his fighting style, which is different than all the other Rangers because he trained with so many Kung Fu masters over time. RJ uses a combination of all of them to take down enemies, and on top of being an awesome Ranger himself, he also trained the original 3 Jungle Fury Rangers, which showcased him as a master of the martial arts. And not only was he a great teacher, he was a great Ranger himself. At number 5, we have Andros from Rangers in Space. The man took down some of the greatest Power Ranger enemies, and I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. He also patrolled the galaxy by himself and saved it by destroying Zordon, which doesn't sound powerful, but trust me, that's a pretty powerful thing to do. Number 4, we have Kimberly Hart from the Mighty Morphin Rangers and the comic books. Now, some of you guys will agree with me, some of you guys will not. I'm assuming the ones who won't agree with me are the ones who haven't read the comic books, but in the Shattered Grid storyline, we see Kimberly Hart as the Ranger Slayer, and she was literally unstoppable. Now, of course, she was controlled by a ranger who is going to come up later, but I mean, the insane amount of power she had when literally none of the rangers could stop her. I mean, it just showed what Kimberly could have done if she ever unlocked her full potential as a ranger. She is definitely deserving of the top 4, or the number 4 spot. Next, we're going to go to Orion from Megaforce. This guy can morph into any 6 ranger that he wants to, which makes him insanely powerful. I mean, he holds the power of multiple rangers who I even considered putting on this list, like Eric Myers, who was the Titanium Ranger, or Antonio from Samurai Rangers, the Lunar Wolf, Shane, the Silver Ranger, the Gold Ranger from Zeo, also known as Jason Scott, another one I considered putting on this list, Trent from Dino Thunder. I mean, he has the powers of all those Rangers, and it's part of the reason I didn't put a lot of those guys that I mentioned on the list, because this guy can literally morph into all of them, which makes him number 3. Coming in at number 2, previously mentioned in the Shattered Grid series, we have Drakon. This one, for old school fans, won't make any sense, but if you are a fan of the Shattered Grid arc in the Power Ranger comic series, an alternate universe in which Tommy Oliver took over the world, you will definitely agree with this. He is one of the most powerful just characters in general, not even just Power Rangers, to ever exist. I can't explain how powerful this guy is in a short video. You will just have to read it for yourself and know this isn't an ad for the Shattered Grid series or the Power Rangers comic books. They are just that good, and I highly suggest reading them. But that's besides the point. Drakon, aka Tommy Oliver, number 2. And of course, number 1, it is Tommy Oliver, the original himself. He, of course, was the Green Ranger, White Ranger, Red Ranger, Black Ranger, all of these, and he was the best of the best, being able to kick butt with limited powers and almost single-handedly destroying the Mighty Morphin Rangers on his own, and still being able to fight into his years and teach the next generation of Power Rangers. Tommy Oliver is, without a doubt, the most powerful Ranger to ever exist. And I know some of you people will say, but you said you didn't include other guys because Orion could become any 6 Ranger, which is true. Orion did have the power to morph into the White Ranger or the Green Ranger, but come on. Tommy is Tommy. Tommy is a different beast, and I think all Power Ranger fans will agree with this. And that is my list. Of course, there are some I wanted to include, like Eric Myers and Jason Scott. It's going to be hard to not have those guys in there, but you know, it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think about the list and if you agree or disagree, and I will see you guys in the next one. And let me know what type of Power Ranger videos you want to see in the future.